That is not an easy job. It involves a lot of experimental work, it involves a lot of thinking, it involves a ton of dedication and hard work.
Ruben Olage here with Dimensions. The Texas Institute for Preclinical Studies was born from an idea and a need to improve the treatment of human heart disease. But that mission has quickly expanded. TIPS is now a key part of a revolutionary initiative from the Texas A&M University System. It's called the Institute for Innovative Therapeutics, IIT. TIPS starts with a concept which requires this word. The ability to translate drugs, treatments, or devices which work well in animals to the human species is found within these walls.
And translation is talked about in many different ways, but fundamentally translation to me means translating an idea into something that could actually help a person or an animal. How you translate that device or that drug means everything.
Think of TIPS as a translation office. To that office, someone brings a certain formulation, made with a certain language, to cure, say, cancer in animals. The language for that formulation, however, is not one the human body understands. Dr. Mark Lennox is one of the chief translators.
If you're a rat or you're a mouse and you have cancer, we can probably cure it. But that's obviously not the case for people. And so the things that are applicable there don't necessarily translate well to people. And this has been one of the biggest problems across the board in cancer research, for example.
As one of the most important translational studies institutions in the world, TIPS provides the tools to solve the hurdle.
Administer all our chemotherapy, perform all our biopsies, and treat most of our patients. We can kind of carefully treat these guys in a quiet atmosphere so that they're calm and can undergo their treatments safely.
Lily here suffers a naturally occurring cancer.
For dogs like Lily, Lily's on an experimental therapy right now where we're trying to boost her immune system and teach it to attack her tumor. Right now, it's hard for us to know if the drug is working other than simply using crude measurements like just measuring the size of her lymph nodes. In the future, we hope to be able to use the machines over there to take a dog like Lily over to TIPS, anesthetize her and do a PET scan in a short period of time. We'll have a much better way of assessing how well our treatments work.
Those treatments start in a lab. Meet the maker of the transporter.
This is a two-dimensional representation for this scaled-down transporter. It has the very simple features of having a core and a shell, and the core is a nucleus into which drugs can be sequestered. The key to this particle containing the drug is going to be a targeting ligand, we'll just call it T, that takes it to a particular receptor on the surface of a diseased cell, so that this particle can find the disease and bind to it, carrying this drug molecule to the appropriate place in the body.
To be able to measure that, take a look at this. It's called PET, Positron Emission Tomography. If you can imagine a camera taking a photograph of neon-illuminated cells, this is what it does. Experts here are able to see results.
In order to verify that a new drug is actually getting to the diseased tissue that we're interested in, we use molecular imaging. In order to accomplish this, first we label the drug, then we use a device like our PET-CT to actually measure the concentration in the target tissue. By looking at the concentration, we can determine whether enough of the drug actually got to the diseased tissue to actually have a therapeutic effect.
Testing new therapies, according to the Federal Drug Administration, has to be done under GLP, good laboratory practices. This is something TIPS performs faster with an added value.
So oftentimes if a company, especially a small startup company, goes to a contract research organization and they have a project, the company, the CRO, will do the project exactly as it's designed. What we can offer is that if things need to be changed, if they need a little engineering input, we want to help them at every stage along the way. They can do their early preclinical work here, and then they can move it directly into GLP studies, and that's a huge savings.
TIPS is a future of medicine here and now. With expectations booming in all areas of research, one of TIPS's latest accomplishments is a contract with DARPA, the Defense Advanced Research Projects Agency. The objective, keep life in a state of hibernation, such as the one a soldier would need if injured in the battlefield.
One of the major projects that we have is looking at innovative ways to deal with severe hemorrhagic shock, which is one of the most common causes for fatalities on the battlefield. And what we're looking for is a model. We have a model that we believe is predictive that we can test interventions with to try and determine how we can extend the period where these soldiers might survive to be evacuated to a more complete facility where definitive therapy might be taken.
The results of the research into drugs or devices can and will be used to help civilians. Dr. Duncan Maitland is the biomedical engineer who will be in charge of inventing such treatments.
So I sound like a medical doctor as an engineer because I start from day zero on device concepts with deep consideration of how the doctors are going to use, how first responders treat those patients, how big that window of time you have open to do the treatment. And so it's just experience. I'm on my 4th or 5th device taking it to humans, and you just get trained to think about the final outcomes and that path to those outcomes from the first time you draw on a whiteboard a device design.
Biomedical technology is the key to success at TIPS, but curing people is the ultimate goal. That's why TIPS is an integral part of the mission of the IIT.
Well, the Institute for Innovative Therapeutics is a unique capability here in College Station. It represents the coming together of the multiple institutions in the Texas A&M system to create a shared enterprise of multiple unique facilities that are state-of-the-art, that will work together to give us a capability in the translational arena that's unrivaled in the United States and unrivaled in the world.
Finally, consider this. There's a way things have been done in curing and preventing diseases, and the way they will be done. TIPS represents the future. For Dimensions, I'm Ruben Olagi.